Romans chapter 8, beginning in verse 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. We get in trouble so often when we compare ourselves with one another. In fact, when Paul was writing the Corinthians, he told them that you're not wise. We're not wise when we compare ourselves with one another. Why do they have it so easy? Why is it so difficult for me? How come they have so much? Why do I have so little? We compare our lives, we compare our conditions, and Paul says, in so doing, we're not wise. The psalmist, Asaph, in the 73rd Psalm, tells us that he almost backslid when he observed the lifestyle of many of the non-Christians, the non-believers, the ungodly that were around him at that time. He said that his foot almost slipped, that he was about to go in the wrong direction when he observed the prosperity of the wicked. Why are the wicked having so much fun? Why are they the ones with the nice houses and the nice cars and the good-looking girlfriends, the good-looking boyfriend? Why are they having all the fun? And, as believers, sometimes we can approach non-believers from an angle that really isn't scriptural. We think, non-believers are always unhappy. And we tell people, you guys are so miserable. You non-believers are so unhappy because you don't have Christ. Well, listen, there are a lot of non-believers that are living it up. They're having a wonderful time. And you come to them and say, do you want to be a Christian? I know you're miserable. Why do you become a Christian now? You're having such a horrible time. You want to live it up. No, oftentimes, non-believers on their way to hell are having a great time. They're living it up. They're deceived. They don't know they're going to hell. Or at least they don't think they're going to hell. And the psalmist, Asaph, said it wasn't until he saw these non-believers, these prosperous individuals that didn't know God, when he saw them with an eternal perspective. When he saw that these individuals are on a slippery slope, they could instantly experience separation from life, from loved ones, and be eternally damned at any moment. And it wasn't until he went into the house of God, and when he perceived from God's perspective these non-believers from a spiritual standpoint. And here, Paul the Apostle is saying, in verse 18, once again, for I reckon, and that means to consider, and it's literally a numerical calculation. Figuratively, as it is used here, it speaks of and refers to reaching a settled conclusion by careful study and reasoning. So often we have the wrong perspective simply because we have bad math. It's just a result of bad math. We don't factor the equation accurately. We don't finish the equation. We don't see those individuals that are experiencing a glorious time here that don't know Christ. We don't think of what's going to happen to them in the future. We don't consider the fact that they're going to be lost for all eternity if they don't receive Christ. Now Moses, and we'll be looking at this Wednesday night, Moses, it tells us, when he was the heir apparent to the throne, he was being groomed to become the next Pharaoh. And from that position, he would have, in a sense, ruled the world. One of the most, if not the most powerful individual on the planet at that time was Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Powerful empire, advanced culture. But Moses, it tells us, he forsook the pleasures of Egypt to suffer with the children of Israel. Now, he wasn't doing that just to be a nice guy. Oh, I feel so sorry for that. It wasn't a humanitarian effort. It was because he accurately equated, factored in everything that was involved regarding the decision. I can either become the Pharaoh, have everything now, and lose everything when I die, or I can be linked with the children of Israel, follow God, serve him, and suffer for a decade or two, or as was the case with Moses, for about 4 decades. I can suffer for many years and then have everything when it's all said and done. And Moses simply didn't want to get gypped. Hey, I'm going to choose to be a child of God, to suffer with the children of Israel now, and have everything, to inherit the kingdom of God then. And this is what we must do as God's people. We must use God's perspective as far as the future is concerned and as far as the present. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. So it's a decision we also make. It's that which is going to be experienced by every one of us as a child of God. There is that which is glorious for you, for me, in the future. And we need to live for that glory now. But if we compare ourselves with the ungodly, with those individuals that seem to have it all, we can, like the psalmist, go in the wrong direction. So we must consider, factor in the numerical calculation, and come to a settled conclusion regarding that which is yet future. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4, the same writer, Paul says this. Let me just read this to you. He said, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory, while we look not at those things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." And it's living for that which is eternal that brings satisfaction in this life.